You know, Rebels, if you've been checking out some of my promotional ads on social media, you'll be aware that I have been using a lot of AI programs to help me create ads. But you know what? There's a lot more uses for AI than just funny little videos. And I'd like to introduce one of our new sponsors, Podium. It is a leader in creating AI tools for podcasters. Now, let's say you've got a podcast, or maybe you're even thinking of doing a podcast. You're probably wondering, well, how can AI be integrated with your workflow? I'll tell you about Podium. As a podcaster, you know that writing show notes and creating chapters and transcribing episodes takes a lot of time, and it can cost you a lot of money too. But you know what? That's where Podium comes in. It's an AI tool designed specifically for creators and podcasters with the goal of making post-production tasks quick and easy. And in just a few minutes, Podium generates show notes, chapters, summaries, clips for social media, a full transcript, suggested episode titles, social media posts, and more. Whew, that's a lot of work for one little program. Your show notes are key to your podcast's success because it helps new listeners find your podcast and they'll know if it's a fit for them. You know, kind of like Too Many Podcasts. It also improves your SEO, that's your search engine optimization. Ooh, big phrase there. And overall accessibility. And with Podium, you can focus on creating a great podcast and let Podium's AI do the heavy lifting. But Podium isn't just for solo creators and podcasters. It's a game changer for editors, producers, marketers, agencies, and production studios. Teams that use Podiums are able to increase workloads, decrease turnaround times, and improve their quality. How does it work? Very easy. First, go to Podium's website, and you'll see that link that's right there in the show notes. You get 3 hours free just to try it. Pretty cool, huh? And using that link also supports this show as well. And you know what else happens? Because I'm a good guy. You use my link, you will get 50% off for your first month. So visit the site, upload an MP3 file, and download your files, and that's it. And if you need anything else, you can use Podium GPT to generate articles and any marketing copy you might need in seconds. Instant show notes, transcripts, chapters for your podcast or channel. This will level up that podcast. So check out Podium today.
The Sherpa Screening Room is a presentation of Too Many Podcasts, which is brought to you in cooperation with the SJ Network. If you're someone who'd like to appear on podcasts, contact Stephen Joyner at s-j-network.com. This show is hosted by Jim the Podcast Sherpa. With a name like that, you can't say I didn't warn you.
On this edition of The Sherpa Screening Room, we'll be talking with Todd Wolfson, director of the upcoming horror movie.
Wow. I wish I knew how to spell that.
Coming to you from Sherpa Chalet in beautiful downtown Mount Podcastia, it's time for entertainment interviews in the Sherpa Screening Room. Grab an aisle seat and a bucket of popcorn, but don't crunch too loud or you'll miss the show. Now, here's your host, Jim, the Podcast Sherpa.
Hello there, Rebels of the Sherpalution. Welcome to the Sherpa Screening Room. It is a presentation of Too Many Podcasts, which is the podcast about podcasts. Jim, the Podcast Sherpa, sitting right here in his little chair in the big Sherpalution studios, high atop Mount Podcastia in the Sherpa Chalet. Welcome to all of you, one and all. And the Sherpa Screening Room, just in case for those of you who are new and didn't know this, are the episodes where we talk to folks who don't necessarily have podcasts, but they are creators. We've spoken to actors, musicians, directors, producers, you name it. And if you are a horror fan, today's an interview that you might enjoy. This is an interview with a guy named Todd Wolfson, who has created a movie called, we don't want to say that yet because there's a lot of cussing in the title. Not that much, just a little bit. So you'll hear it when we get started, and maybe you'll notice it somewhere in the show notes. It's a really wild type of horror movie. I've had the opportunity to see the trailer, and I will provide the link to that in the show notes if you want to check it out as well. It's really wild stuff, I say. So we will get moving with our interview with Todd Wolfson. Hello there, Rebels. We are here in the Sherpa Screening Room, and my guest today is a filmmaker from Pittsburgh, Three River City, right? Is that what they call it sometimes?
That's right.
His name is Todd Wolfson. He is the creator of a movie called, yes, I'm going to swear on my show, Batshit.
Batshit.
Batshit. Wait, am I going to get sued for that? Or
no, we actually, the thing about that was I had a band, a local band, and all they did was they took the same song, but they lowered it by one or two keys.
Okay.
So once you change that schematic, it's not the same song. So that's how we broke that code. I was like, because believe me, I was worried about anything that dealt with like, oh, is that copyrighted? Like I was like, let's make sure we can do this. And so, but yeah, thanks for having me on the podcast. And yeah, Batshit is what it's called. I'm wearing the T-shirt right now. I don't know. Is this going to be video or just audio?
It's just audio. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I can vouch for him though. He is wearing.
Yeah.
if they look for your trailer though, they can see what the logo looks like though.
Yeah, actually, if they for the viewers at home, since they can't see it, if you go to Batshit on Facebook, you'll see the logo first thing you pop up.
There you go. See, another handy tip for those of you using Facebook. So how long have you been into making movies, Todd?
So I've been making independent films since 2015. Around that time, but I've always been like a creative writer, just because I just started making film. Mm-hmm. Like I've always been an artist. I'm more of the creative weirdo, creative writer that just always wanted to do something with film. And my buddies that I met years ago, they also were into film and making films. I never thought like, oh, I'm gonna make a movie, I mean, I just didn't think it was like, not that, I was like doubting myself, but I never went to school for it or anything. And I just was kind of like, I just thought it was like cost all this money and, all this production. And meanwhile, we just like went for it, just do it yourself. We're producers ourselves. We just went out and, we got the camera, got the equipment and went and started making our own short films. And it all started at the 48-hour film festival, which is, they have them all over. I'm sure you've heard of them. Mm-hmm. And that's really how I got my start, was because I started networking, meeting a lot of the other filmmakers and actors and just everyone from that community. And so that it spawned from that. And also just my love of cinema. I've always loved film, and I've always had a dark side, if you will. Like I love to write about horror, the horror genre, and just twisted, messed up, crazy stuff like that shit
that you just happen to be wearing. So no, I'm aware of what the 48-hour film festival is because I've had other filmmakers on here. But for some of the listeners who've never heard of that, could you kind of explain what that's about?
Yeah, it says, I mean, it's in the title, 48 hours. You get 48 hours to make a film, but they have requirements that you have to meet, like rules. So I wasn't a big fan of that. My friends, they've been doing it. Shout out to Shadow Frame. That's my friends, Matt and Jason. That's who I got my start with, like, and we still work together. Mm-hmm. And they're like the vets, like they're the veterans. They've been doing that 48-hour projects for like over 10 years. So I only did one. And that was, for me, that was like, I won't say enough. Like I would like to do one again, but it was just like, it's intense. It's right. Basically it challenges you as a filmmaker, and not even just as a filmmaker, but just as a person, because like you get they give you the category, you get to choose from two, I believe, from two categories, and you basically get that night to come up with your script, come up with your cast, and then the next day, obviously, you film it. And then Sunday is usually the day that you grind, because you got to edit it. And like, if you don't have all of these, this crew with you that already knows what's going on, it could be a hot mess. And but I mean, it's a learning experience. It's fun. I recommend it to do at least once for any filmmaker, because like I did it. Like I even if it was only once, at least I did it. And it was it was a lot of fun. We didn't make it in time. What I mean by that is there's a cutoff. Like I think it's at 7 or 7:30. We missed it like by a 5-minute window. But this is what I will say about our film. Even though we didn't make it in time, ours was the first one that played. And also it got, I want not to like toot my horn, but we got the biggest response, like audience response, like carrying like people just entertained. And that's what I'm here for. That's my goal, is to entertain. Like my company's called Just Buried Entertainment. Get it from WWE, obviously, but it's like that's what I'm here to do. I love making original, fun, passion projects. But the 48 hour though, I mean, it's not for everyone. Personally, for me, I'm the kind of person or artist that just wants to take my time and craft everything. I don't want to be rushed. I don't want to be like, I have to use a beach ball in this for the prop. What, I have to say I'm back? Wait, we can't use that. No. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the rules. I guess I'm a troublemaker or whatever.
But I guess it would probably be just an interesting experience for any up and coming to director to just know exactly this is the type of stress that you can put up with when you are making a movie. Absolutely. Even if it's just a short movie.
Jim, that's exactly to stress that point. It is. It definitely puts you on the spot, and if anything, that's why like I keep working with the guys I'm working with and other people, but these guys, like, they already know what it's like to be under the pressure and to like be like, all right, so that's good for making a bigger feature film, a bigger project, because there's situations where you want to get the best shot, but you also don't want to be there all day. And like, it could be, there's so many different obstacles or like things that can pop up, or like, setbacks, and just like, I could just get going all into it. But it's just, the point is like, if you're able to get that, what am I trying to say, that time, the time structure down of like knowing, all right, I have to get this shot done because the next shot we only have so and so from this time to this time. And you know what I mean? There's just so many things that could pop up with it. It's crazy. But yeah, 48 definitely helps you as a filmmaker, and just getting the grind down. Just like, all right, let's go, let's get it.
Right. And I guess also, the obvious thing would also be continuity. You don't want to have two people that are starting a conversation and it's bright outside and ending it and when it's pitch black.
Yeah, you have no idea. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about Batshit, but Batshit was a movie that a few people have called it an odyssey because of like just how long we've been working on it and how much we put into it for such a low budget film. And when I say low budget, I really do mean low budget. It's like, yeah. But the like I said, the passion, like just like the amount of work everyone put into it, and it has so many different elements, so many things going on for such an independent, like low budget film. People will be surprised what we were able to accomplish. I mean, I could sit here and talk about it if that's what you want to dive into, but I mean, that's what I'm here for. But I mean, like I could sit here and say it's got every type of animation, almost every type of animation I try to put into this film. That means anything from stop motion to 8-bit animation to claymation. Two different types of claymation, two different types of claymation artists, and just puppet monsters and all kind of zany, crazy stuff. I mean, so now I'm just going to go on a tangent here, but yeah, there's a lot going on with the film, and I guess that's the reason it took so long is also there's so many elements and so many things that happened over the course of that time, that there were setbacks, and there was things that, but no matter what happened, like no matter of any of the setbacks, like we were able to like keep going and just keep, and now we're at the phase where the movie is basically done. We're in the last phase of it, adding the music. So we're looking at October for a premiere, and it's been 7 years that we've been working on this. So just to give you an idea of how long I've invested into this, and like, yeah, it's definitely a passion project. It's a baby of mine, and we've been like, it wasn't even supposed to be a feature film. That's the best part. It was only going to be a short film. This idea I had about a guy who's trapped in his house. He's really in a dream, in a nightmare world, and he's facing off against all these inner demons, like monsters. It could be anything, like, and that's how I was able to open the floodgates, like, so like I could just be as creative as I wanted. Think Nightmare on Elm Street, Beetlejuice, Evil Dead. I could keep going. Like, so many things inspire. I always tell people, like, this is my Evil Dead, but it turned into Army of Darkness. So I don't know if you've seen those movies, but Army of Darkness, Evil Dead's more serious, straightforward horror film, whereas Army of Darkness is like slapstick, horror comedy. But and I don't, I love those movies. So like, I don't, in no way am I putting that shit down in any way, because like I just look at it like, go out there and make an awesome movie and have fun. Like, don't worry about what other people think of it, because at the end of the day, it's what I love to do, and it's bad shit.
Yeah, and there's really nothing wrong with doing a movie that's really like a tribute to the types of movies that you love as well.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said that, because like, that's when I started out making my short films, that was 90%, if not 100% of it's making movies that I was inspired by, like Evil Dead and the monster movies, from the 50s, the drive-in classic monster movies. I made a movie called Sponge, which is about killer alien. They look like sponges, but they're killer alien, blood-sucking, monsters from outer space. So like,
naturally,
and it's just, yeah, it's on YouTube, Just Buried Entertainment. All my short films are up there if you ever want to check them out. But yeah, it's got homages, tributes to like a lot of different stuff. But yeah, that, and then it goes to today we're with Batshit. It's the same deal. All the things that I was inspired by, movies, things, books that I read, comic books, anything really. It's got a lot of everything that I love, and I just put it in a blender, and I just like put that sucker on high. I'm just like, let's go for it.
Sure. Now, you said that the genesis of the movie was about the guy stuck in his own nightmares, and he has to really fight them off, which is kind of the crux of the movie. But you've kind of expounded on that idea when you originally did the full length version, right? There was like a guy who was having a lot of problems, and then he was taking a medicine called Batch 8. I noticed that.
Yeah. So basically, I met the lead, one of the main villains of the film, David Ogrodowski, and he pushed me to turn it into a feature, and because he liked the script so much, and even just the short film, the original thing, and he helped co-write the others. There's a couple. Well, there's another side story. Well, there's two, but there's the detective, like a detective noir side story, where the cops are basically hunting down a serial killer, and in the hometown I call Roslyn. It's just my umbrella city, the city I made up, like, for all my projects, all my stories. And basically, all right, so you got that, right? over here. We'll put that over here. And then you got Felix, the main character. He's going through his hellish journey in Nightmare Road, with facing off against all these crazy things. Like his sidekick is a bat, animated talking bat with no filter. He's like think Deadpool, or like he just basically just has no filter and says he's an anti-hero. You never know if he's like your friend or if he's helping you or what, but that's what makes it interesting. But that's his sidekick, and the guy or the character that helps him navigate along his journey. And then he encounters all of these, like I said earlier, all these monsters and all these. I always do these podcasts, and I don't want to give everything away, but there's just characters in this movie that it's the best way. I can't leave this out. The best way also I describe that shit every time to anyone is that it's like you're at a fun house and you're on a spooky carnival ride, right? But then all of a sudden it turns into like a roller coaster, and you're going, like, so like it's a lot of thrills and spills and all kind of fun bad shit stuff.
And it's interesting because I know you said earlier that there's a lot of different types of animation used in the movie, but it's not really a fully animated movie. It's like live action mixing in with animation.
Exactly. It's a couple movies come to mind that I was absolutely inspired by was Cool World, which doesn't get enough love. That was with Brad Pitt. It was in the early 90s. And everybody knows this one, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was one of my big favorite ones growing up as a kid. I'll never forget the mad scientist, the doctor. Yeah. When he became animated and his eyes were all crazy, that scared the crap out of me. And I didn't know that was
Christopher Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
The whole time. Like I found that out like a couple years ago. Isn't that crazy? I didn't recognize him. But it's just it's that combination. I always liked I mean, when I first started writing when the concept came to me, the idea was that what if some guy is like trapped in a nightmare road, and like I said, there's elements of Nightmare on Elm Street and Evil Dead and Beetlejuice and all kind of other things, but the idea is like, how far can I push it? Like how, like, I mean, like as far as, who cares about the walls? Let's break every wall down, like let's go 3D, let's go stop motion. Let's do a Godzilla stop motion Lego scene. Let's do like as crazy as we can. I've got like I said, puppet monsters. I'm practical effects. Like I'm the guy who loves practical effects. Like I always have. But we have, for the budget we have, before we had to work with, because I wanted to do believe me, if I had like a crazy budget, all this money, I would have done like a million other things for this, but that's why we'll do the batshit part due,
I guess that's what's interesting about doing a movie that has to do with a nightmare world, because there's really no parameters. You can pretty much set it up however, if you want people walking backwards with two heads. Yep. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to say, well, that's not realistic. Well, it's a nightmare world, so what is?
That's exactly why I wanted this to be my first feature too, because to show people like that, I can write slashers and monster movies and do other stuff, and I will eventually, but I wanted to do something that was like so different and unique and original and out there, and basically make a cult film. I'm saying that in the most humble way.
Okay.
I honestly, I don't expect, this to make all the money, but at the same time, I'm super passionate about this, and people will notice and see how much we put into this. All the guano. We put so much guano into this movie. Yeah, like blood, sweat, and tears, But it really is, like I said, earlier, like a passion project. Is something that even though like I was originally like you could have been like, so 7 years ago you could have been like, Todd, what's your first feature film going to be? I would have been like, oh, I'm going to write this slasher or this monster movie, because like I'm huge with the horror genre. So but I just was like, I guess it's awesome when you kind of just bounce ideas and talk to other people, and like you tell them like, all right, because I never even, honestly, like I said, I thought Batshit was just gonna be a short film, and I didn't consider it at, like, ever to be like my number one first thing I would do. Like it was just like an idea that, out of my million other ideas, that I was like, oh, let's try this. But um I guess what I'm trying to say is like, when you have like, you get an idea and like it's like you really want to do this. Well, I kind of wanted to do like five other things before this one. So this wasn't like my, like, oh, this is going to be my first feature film and everybody's going to know me by this. Like I never thought of it that way, but the more and more, like over the years, like I said, working on it and just putting so much into the film and seeing it evolve into what it is now, I'm so damn proud of it that I'm like, hell yeah, I'm batshit crazy, but I'm also happy. I'm happy that I made this fun, original, like I said, carnival funhouse ride. It's a fun movie that it'll definitely, if I had also to describe it, another way would be to say, when you're, well, I guess it goes back to the fun house, but when you're at like an amusement park and you're just walking around checking out the different rides and you're having fun. I mean, that's the best way to describe the movie, because I just want everybody to just go on this, like, this journey with with the main character, who's like, he's going on his own journey and you're right there with him. And it's like, I want to keep everybody like on the edge of their seat, but just have fun.
Yeah. And I would say, I mean, judging by what I've seen, even just though I've seen just the preview, I think when you have a movie like yours that's very unique, those tend to find their audience pretty quickly, because there's nothing that people can compare it to. They're going to know right off the bat if they like it or they don't like it. It's just, and then, they'll be walking out laughing and going, "Did you see when that happened?" And it just really resonates with them really quickly.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and like I said, to say it again, like, to try not to sound like, because I don't have any like kind of like, how do I word it? I guess what I'm trying to say is, not knowing like what people, not that everyone's gonna like, and what if I know what I like and what my friends like. We enjoy these type of cult films that I had mentioned, the movies that inspired me earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, it's the end of the night and I'm getting a brain fart, but I'm trying to process what I'm trying to say here. Basically,
this happens in the movie too,
Yes, yeah. Like I said, I'm a batshit crazy boy. I mean, so, but I don't know. I guess I'm trying to say is like, go check it out. Go check out Batshit, because it's an awesome, original dark comedy, and it's like nothing you've ever seen. But yeah, it's just one of those things where like I don't ever sit there and think like, is this gonna, is everyone gonna like this? Because I know not everyone's gonna like it. So I just look at it like, I guess it goes back to what you're saying is that it's, you find an audience or like a niche,
Right.
And it definitely has that. It has that audience, that certain niche, and I don't know exactly what to call it, like bizarro, like cult, whatever you want to call it. But it's like people that like the kind of movies I like I will say I'm not going to say everyone's going to love it, but they will appreciate what I'm trying to do, because it has musical parts too. I didn't even mention, like, there's singing zombies. There's quite a few, we have musical, like, just bands and like from all over, and the theme song is by a really good band called Rebel Flesh, and they're from Texas, and they wrote that song for us. And I've been working with those guys. They wrote songs for my other films, and they wrote the Batchet theme song, and it's a hit. Like, as soon as you hear it, it's catchy. It's something that's rememberable, and that's what I wanted. I wanted like fun. I wanted fun, like music, and just also memorable. I said this in the other podcast. I think what makes a great cult film, or just a great film, is memorable characters and one-liners, like quotes, things that you can quote, like Evil Dead. I mean, we all know, like, groovy, just all the give me some sugar, baby, like get a good one-liner, and from whatever movie you're watching, whether it's like the horror genre or a Western or whatever your cup of tea is. I just think that really makes like a great film, and that's what we tried to incorporate was as wacky of a movie as this is. There are Felix, the main character, has his own one-liners, and just also, like I said earlier, he's on that journey, but he's going to take you. It's just like when you have character development, and I've been writing stories since I was in high school, or so like when you've got a really good character, and you've really worked on the development of the character, and you see the parts of the story and the turning points, and they go from, okay, well, this character was a huge wuss, right? Like, you didn't think he was ever going to do anything, and then he becomes this badass, new character that is able to overcome and kick some butt.
You always want something memorable, whether it's like the dialogue or a special effect or something that kind of sears in your brain for a little bit. So when somebody's talking about it, they'll say, "Oh, this was the movie when this happened, or this character uttered this really great line at the right time, and I never seen that before." Just again, it speaks to the uniqueness of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I try to do. Both me and my co-writer, it was mainly, like I said, my concept, my story, like, but he came up with some really cool, one of these other cool one-liners, and I just was like, I liked it so much, I was like, he brought it back in another scene with another character, and I said, why don't we just make this a reoccurring thing, and it ended up being like this other thing, that we have a character that just keeps, well, I wouldn't call it a character, it's just more like a prop. I'll just tell you, it's a lobster, and he keeps putting the lobster, like, so look out, that's an Easter egg every time you see a lobster, and you'll see it, like, I'm not going to tell you how many times, but it's a fun drinking game if you drink. Like, but there's a lot of just things in this movie where, like, besides the one-liners, like, there's a lot of just crazy moments where but it always keeps you. I think after watching it, of course, I've seen it more times than anyone, but I think even now to this point that I've seen it so many times that you would think I'm sick of seeing it. Now I love it even more, because now that I'm seeing what it, like I said earlier, what it has evolved into, like, it's this just fun, awesome carnival ride that keeps you invested. It keeps you entertained, I should say. It keeps you just like, all right, what's going to happen next? And that's what I love about cinema, about films. And also, because now that my brain is starting to work a little. I was just thinking about that other thing that I love is the magic of cinema. Like, you talk about And I know this is like cliche to say, but Spielberg, E.T., the first time you see like when they're on the bicycles and E.T. Gives them the power of flight. And like as a kid, that like watching that was, and I mean, I don't want to say just that, but like Back to the Future or like Jaws, the first time you saw Jaws coming out of it, I mean, come on, man. Like that's just like, that's the magic of cinema. And that's what I wanted to also bring back. And I'm not saying it's gone completely. Like there's so many talented filmmakers out there that are still doing it. It's just, I think like, I think what's missing is not, I think it is part of the magic. The magic is missing, but I think also just like the creativity and, just pushing every boundary and breaking every wall down, like I said, and just going as batshit crazy as you can. Because I mean, like to me, like there's so many movies out there. And no, I'm not going to say like any names of them, right? But just that I watch and I'm like, really? That was it? Like it just felt like, what like let's be honest, like Hollywood, all they care about is making money, and it's all about reboots, remakes, you know what I mean? Like, or sequels. Yeah. And that's just the reality of it. But with me, the way I think is, I say, screw that. Let's make some original fun content and have fun, as much fun as we can. Of course, there's always going to be like, tributes, like we said earlier, but all those things are what inspire, they shape you into the artist that you are. Everyone, is inspired by something. You can't say you're, there's a lot of things but what it comes down to is like all that stuff that inspires me. Like I said, I put in a blender and then I put my own twist on it and make it my own thing and, go from there. And, I really do think this is the type of movie that if you go into it like not expecting like all this stuff, just go into it like, all right, I'm going to watch a fun movie where I just want to shut my brain off for like an hour or two and just have fun. I mean, there's certain movies I know out there too that like I really like that you want to watch and makes you wonder, makes you think. I mean, I'm not discrediting, those, but those are different type of, films. This is the kind of movie, Batshit is kind of movie you watch. Like I said, not saying like a broken record again, but a fun carnival ride, like just have fun with it. And, it's for shits and giggles. Okay. You better bring an extra pair of underoos.
All right. So before I let you go, Todd, could you let everybody know where they can check out the preview and some of your other work?
Yep, absolutely. So everything, if you go to Just Buried Entertainment, I have a YouTube. We're on Facebook. We have the website, www.justburiederentertainment.com. And we're also on all the other social media outlets. But like I said, if you go to YouTube, I said it earlier, I'll say it again, all of my short films, all my early work for the past 10 years, it's all up there on YouTube for free. You can watch all my movies. I got about 10 or 11 short films up on there, so knock yourself out. And Batshit is coming this October. Yes, it's really coming out this October. And everything, like I said, just if you want to find anything else out. Also, we have Batshit has its own Facebook page too as well. And I'll just say one more thing. I'm going to be at Living Dead Weekend. That's in my hometown, Pittsburgh. It's George Romero's zombie convention. And if anyone out there's listening and they're close to Pittsburgh or want to make a road trip, come on out. I'll be there. I'll have a table. And I'll hook you up with some free Batshit swag.
Great, there you have it. Mr. Todd Wolfson, thank you so much for swinging by at this late hour, and best of luck with Batshit.
Thank you so much for having me on, Jim. I appreciate it.
We're on that internet thingy at sherpollution.com.
Thank you so much to Todd Wolfson for coming by the Sherpa Screening Room. Be sure to check out his movie when it's coming out this fall of 24. And thank you to you for spending a little time and listening to this interview. We have new episodes pretty much every Wednesday. And on Saturday, we do the Sherpa Selects, where I feature some classic episodes. We have classic episodes? Yes, we have classic episodes of Too Many Podcasts and the Sherpa Screening Room for you to hear, just in case you missed them in the early seasons. If you're enjoying what you hear, you can follow me on social media. Sherpalution is the word that you need on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, if it's still here, and X. I'm there, and you can also go to sherpalution.com, which is the website, the home of all this madness, and there is a lot more stuff that you can check out if you pay that a visit. And all the shows are there from the beginning until we end this. When will we end this? I don't know. So I guess we will see you next time. We've got some podcast episodes that we need to do. We got to get some podcasters on the show. I've got a whole slew of Sherpa samples coming up as well. So we will be getting to that, I promise. And until then, Lord Mr. Bruce, we got to get on out of here to work on the next episode. And I say to you all, Viva la Sherpalution!
Thanks for listening to the Sherpa Screening Room. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast. I'm Mr. Bruce, and this has been a Sherpa Studios production. Viva la Sherpalution!